Hi, my name is Tim Stokes, founder of Profit Transformations, and today we're talking about step 1 of the 7 steps to business certainty, building your vision. Before we begin, I'd just like to share with you some of the 7 steps training results that our clients have achieved over the years. Some have tripled their business's net profit in 1 to 5 months. Some have even gone to 500% increase in net profits in 3 months. Seen their profits continue to increase for years even after they finished the training. Solved all of their employee challenges, completely de-stressed. Increased their personal salaries $50,000 and beyond in the 7 months of the training. Enjoyed a better quality of life, which I think is the most important thing that you're probably listening to this video for. You want something better about the quality of your life. It might be more income that you can spend, more time, better holidays, that sort of thing. Started new highly profitable businesses. Some of our clients have sold their businesses and started completely new businesses. Sometimes they've gone from service businesses to retail or a completely different type of business, and they've hit the ground running and turned that business into a highly profitable cash cow very, very rapidly. Some of our clients have even hired a manager, and they live in a state to where their business now operates. They stopped working completely in their business, did no work in their business because they moved too far away from it, enjoyed an income from their business, and yet hardly had any time at all even talking to their employees in the business because their manager ran their business completely for them. Is that something that you'd like to achieve? Some of the clients that we've had said absolutely yes. Some say, I don't think I'd like to do that. It's up to you what you want, but that's the sort of thing that some of our clients have achieved from this training. There are 4 ways to double your benefits from going through this video and the ones that follow it. First one is do every action step at the end. At the end of each video there'll be action steps. You need to do every single one. Don't shortcut the learning. This is the shortcut. You don't want to shortcut shortcuts. It doesn't work. So this training is the shortcut. Watch the video again tomorrow or the next day and you'll get 3 times more from it. There's content in this video that, from working with so many business owners over the years, I've identified that their mindset is part of their reason that they're not as successful as they like to, and I think outside the box. I apply strategies and techniques that they never even gave a consideration to, never even imagined that they existed, and therefore these strategies are sometimes rejected because it doesn't quite sink in the power of what they're going to do, what they're going to do for them in their business. It's like that with this video content. You need to go through it 2 or 3 or 4 times and you'll find you'll just get so much more out of it when you digest, think about it, and then turn it into actions. It has that effect on people. Talk to someone about the content as well. Talking about things is a clarifying process. When you talk to someone you know, could be husband, wife, business partner, son, daughter, it doesn't really matter who you talk to about this, whether they're in your business or not. You'll find that you'll just get more clarity, you'll get more power and benefits from just talking about this content. So I encourage you to do that as well. Who might that person be? Can you think of who that person would be? Doesn't matter if it's a different person each time, but just verbalize what it is that you've been learning. Alright, the 7 steps is an implementation formula. The first step begins with not sales and marketing. That's actually step 6. So a lot of people in business have a mindset that says, I need more money, therefore I need more customers. That'll make me more money. What they don't realize is that as businesses increase in turnover or revenue, with more customers, you increase your turnover, your revenue. Businesses get more inefficient, so net profit margins drop, therefore you actually have less money available typically in the majority of businesses as they grow. Now, getting more customers is not actually going to give you more money, it gives you more revenue, but money in a business isn't just revenue, it's actually profit. So I don't like to start with sales and marketing first, because when I ask business owners, how many customers have you got now each week coming in, new customers, new sales, they typically say, I'm not real sure, a lot. I want to find out what's going on in the business. So we need to measure what's going on in the business to find out. Find out things like what's your conversion rate from inquiry to sale, what's your bounce rate on your website, what net profit margin are you selling everything that you sell so that you're selling it at that before you do sell it. You know the price before you sell it, and then we measure it afterwards to see if what you sold it for is actually what you got for it. We also measure the performance of all the people in your business. So the measuring reveals incredible opportunities or weaknesses with which to strategize, and we put all of those opportunities into a plan to achieve your goals. So step 4 follows step 3. So we measure to find opportunities to make your profits. And the clients that have come through this training that have doubled or tripled or quadrupled or increased their profits 500% didn't actually do it from sales and marketing. Sometimes they did, but because that's near the end of the training, it's step 6 out of 7. I'm not seeing the results from that at the end of the training when we ask for the results that they've achieved. So the results are being achieved from typically steps 2, 3 massively, where all sorts of things are revealed from measuring. So planning is something we do after that, and before we implement the explosive strategies that can triple your sales, triple your turnover, triple your profits in a month or 2 or 3, which is what step 6 is about, we need to have systems in place before you get too busy. Systems for the next person you're going to hire, for example, things like that. So we need to do these 3 steps before we get to sales and marketing. But before we get to measuring, we've got to get the whole team involved. We've got to motivate your team to be involved with the measuring, so everything is being measured, not just the finances, but the sales and the leads and all sorts of things in there. So we need to be measuring with all of your team members involved. So we've got to get your team interested in doing that by team building. And the best way to motivate your team is actually to look at motivating you, the business owner. A wise man once said, there's no such thing as an unmotivated person. There's just a person without a strong vision of what they want to achieve. So I found that by working with business owners, this is the very first step. All sorts of magic things start to happen. When they get clarity of what it is that they're looking for, we put it in writing, all of a sudden they get excited, and that's what we do in this training. We want to get you excited with more clarity of what it is you're trying to achieve, and from that clarity and that vision, we'll share some of that with the team about what you want to do with your business. That gets the team more invigorated. You have a common goal, a common interest together, and then with the strategies we'll talk about in team building, then we'll motivate your team to be involved with the measuring. The measuring then reveals the opportunities and the weaknesses with which to strategize into a plan to achieve your goals. We work on our systems before we implement that plan, and while we're developing our strategies and refining and learning them and designing them, then we get into the secrets of sales and marketing. Then by the time we've done the first 6, we've actually prepared the business for management, where you're moving more into management, which is where you're really designing and implementing strategies, because that's a full-time job. It's full-time just to be a manager of a business by research and learning and drafting and designing and implementing strategies. So that's what the 7 steps are all about. I've tried all of these out of order to implement them in businesses, and it's failed. Or it's worked brilliantly initially and then failed dismally soon afterwards. I've had clients where I've actually tripled the number of sales I've got, from $30,000 a month to $90,000 a month in sales within 2 months of meeting them, from implementing one strategy in the second month, a sales strategy. And he got excited initially until he realized he couldn't hire 3 times more employees to keep up with the 3 times more workload that he had. And it created massive stress because the customers complained, he had problems with employees, he couldn't hire 3 times as many employees in a month. It just created a lot of chaos. So I've learned through experience that I don't want to do step 6 first. A lot of people come to me and say, Tim, I need more money, I need more customers, can you help me? And if their turnover is over 400,000 or 500,000, then that's suitable for this training program, the 7-month intensive. Then I stop talking to them about sales and marketing. So it's a 7-step process. We'll liberate your profits, typically hugely, at step 3. We'll find all sorts of profit you didn't know when we show you what's going on at step 3. If you need customers, what you're saying is you probably need money. If you want to make more money, don't think that customers is the only way. So that's what this training is all about. It's getting you clear of giving you what it is that you want. You want more time? That comes from team building. You want more money? That comes from measuring. Measuring is the best way to liberate profit in a business, not getting more customers. Once you go to business that's super efficient, yes, then you're ready for sales and marketing. But don't think that's the way that's going to make you more money. All right, so let's talk about mindset. Mindset is the number 1 ingredient of extreme success. Absolute number 1. I've found all business owners agree with me when they've come through the 7 steps training, the 7-month training. They typically say, yeah, you're right, I did need to change my mindset. Mindset is made up of personality, beliefs, and experiences that you've gathered through life. these mindset that you have, and there's lots and lots and lots of different mindsets. It's not just one, there's dozens of mindsets. Just pick a subject and you'll have a different mindset. This mindset absolutely dictates what thoughts that you will have, and the way that you think is like a box that you're stuck in. You think a certain way, and because of that, that mindset is there and it traps you into that way of thinking. So some examples are business owners have a mindset that they can't put their price up 10 or 20% because they'll lose all their customers, or that employees really don't work hard unless they're there supervising them all the time, or that there's no work out in the marketplace, therefore they shouldn't be marketing, or that marketing is an expense, not an investment. There's dozens and dozens of them that they have, or they're too busy to do things. They're too busy to implement this content. Those sort of things are mindsets that they have that stop them from making more progress. So our thoughts is a mindset that prevents our success, but our thoughts absolutely dictate the activity. Think about it. You think of an idea, you get an idea, and then you think about it, then you go and turn it into an activity. You take an action on that. So your thoughts always preempt your activity, and your activity always preempts the results. So if you're not increasing your profits 50 or 100% per year, then you need to start saying why. Why aren't you getting the results you like? And a lot of people go looking for the activity that they need to do. Well, tell me what to do. Tell me what to do. But if I've found that I can tell business owners what to do very, very readily, but they won't do anything that I tell them because their thoughts will sabotage it. They won't do what I'm suggesting. Oh, you need to work on your business 5 hours a week. Take half a day off a week and work on your business. I don't have time to work on my business. That's what they'll say to me. So it's an example where their mindset. So I work with people's mindsets because I find that by working with their mindsets and looking at their beliefs about certain subjects and maybe even their personality and showing them this, then they start to see that their thinking can be improved. And when they improve their thinking, they take radically different actions and activities. Therefore, their results become radical in improvement as well. This is the magic of how you grow businesses. This is how I do it with radical improvements, hundreds of thousands in profit increases in months, because I think so outside the box in how I approach business. So this is a key. This is a magic ingredient that workshop 1 and step 1 is really a lot about mindset. We'll talk about that as we go. But all great achievers work on their mindset to improve their thinking. I've invested over 100,000 in training from the best people I can find in the world on so many different subjects, from sales training to marketing. I've spent over 50,000 just on marketing alone, learning the best marketing from the best people in the world, and that goes back over 20 years. I did a Michael Gerber E-Myth Mastery 2-day workshop in about 1992. So I've been around this content for a long, long, long time, and I'm always working on my mindset. I'm always questioning why aren't I going to the next level, and it's something I encourage all of my clients to do as well. To grow a business, we grow mindsets. That's where it all begins. The mindset and vision you need in business is, well, here's an example. A good example here is business is like a war. It's very combative. It's competitive. You've got people trying to beat you all the time, you could say. And in a business, there's a general that has a role. And the role of the general, even though they might be the most experienced person, they may have been in the army for the longest, they don't want to be a super soldier and say, gee, I'm really experienced, let me go and give me a gun, I'll go and shoot the enemy. Even though they could, it's not the best use of their time. There's no point in them doing that. They need to have other people doing that, and what they need to do is be the strategist. That's what they need to do. They got to leverage through the chain of command, and in business, it's a similar thing. Business owners tend to be super soldiers. They're brilliant at the technical work of the business instead of getting other people to be brilliant at that technical work. So you need to employ and train specialist soldiers. Now, if you can afford to pay these people, then you need to increase your business's net profit margin, which is what the 7 steps to business certainty is about. When you increase business's net profit margin, and every business can with the training that I provide, then you can afford to pay super soldiers. And if you can afford to pay them, you free up your time 100%. And then you can work on other things. So it's about employing and training other people to do what it is that you do in the business, and stop thinking you've got to do it all yourself because you're the best. So the general's role is to gather reliable intel. In a war, that's what they call it, reliable intel. Let's go out and send spies out. Let's gather some information. Let's go and research. They go out and learn to analyze. They're analyzing facts, not fabrications, not assumptions, not beliefs, facts. What do the facts say? Indefutable facts. And from that analysis, then we will strategize. So strategies come from analyzing. You analyze, then you strategize, then you analyze the strategy once it's been implemented, and then you strategize. It's actually developing two skill sets. We need to be able to analyze, then we need to strategize. And in business, then you train your team to implement these strategies and to analyze the data with your team, and then you are leveraging. That's what it's all about. It's learning how to leverage, like a general leverages by having one person that's a general strategizing, relaying those instructions down to the next commanding officer, all the way down to the soldier on the front line who implements it, and then they analyze their battle tactics, and then they re-strategize over time once the strategy has taken its time to be implemented. That's what it's all about in business as well. There are three hats of business success. There's the technician, which is the industry or technical knowledge that you need. There's the manager. The manager have great skills with people. That's what makes them different to what's out there. They are good with systems and they're good with numbers, but they have great skills with all three. Now, there are people in this world that run public companies that are paid millions and millions, sometimes tens of millions and even hundreds of millions of dollars a year, not because they're great technicians, but because they are great managers. Management skill makes you a lot of money in business, not technical skills. You may be the best technician in your industry, but you are one person. So you having great industry skills is not going to make you a lot of money in business. That's called being an employee or self-employed. You need to learn those management skills. So that's what it is. Great skills with people. Getting people to use the systems is a people skill. And then in getting numbers, which is the glue, the guy that binds people to the systems. And the numbers are the intel in a business because they're the facts of what's going on. The entrepreneur is the three hat of business success, the third hat if you like, the third skill. And that skill's at spotting opportunities. Opportunities are there right under your nose all the time. I remember talking to a tire retailer who came through my training and said, mate, there's no entrepreneur opportunities in our industry. And throughout the training, he got to a point in it where I brought up the subject of the opportunity he saw that there was there to be had for his industry. I said, no one is training tire fitters in your industry, and if someone did, they could license that as a training system and make a fortune by selling a digital product back into the industry and make hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars a year with massive profit margins, all from the opportunity that exists. There are always opportunities in every industry, in every business, but people can't see it with their mind. They're too busy. They're too preoccupied with doing work as a technician. That's what can happen, and that's a trap. Entrepreneurs also take risks that they really understand ROI, the return of investment of their time and or their money. So question to you, what can you do once only in your business that you don't need to do again in your business right now? I'm making this video once. I make the video's finished. I don't have to keep doing this as a task to introduce people to this training and the content that I have. That's an example of just doing something once. You do a video, create a video for your business. That's something you've done once. What else can you do? Can you document a system? Can you measure? Can you implement something? What can you do once in your business as a task or a strategy that you don't have to do again? And if you get thinking about this, you'll probably find dozens and dozens and dozens of things, which is what the clients do when they come through this training. They typically find them and they didn't even know they were there. Their mindset wasn't looking for them. But then they start to understand how entrepreneurs think. They think leverage. What can I do once that I don't have to do again? Entrepreneurs rarely do repetitious work, whereas technicians, all they do is repetitious work. So if you want to be more entrepreneurial in your thinking to be more successful, where you get paid for work you do once, over and over and over and over again for years, then what is it that you can do once only that you don't need to do again? I want you to think about that in depth. Business management. is the skill that business owners are typically weak in. And it comes down to a really simple analogy, is look at it as having equal skills with, first of all, sales and marketing, which is about getting customers. It's about getting the sale. You need to be able to become excellent at getting sales. So when you talk to people, that's the sales skill. The verbal element is the sales skill. The marketing is getting the opportunity to talk to people, you could say. Advertising comes under the heading of marketing. Well, marketing is a very big subject. It's pricing, it's sales, it's everything. Let's treat it a little bit different. Let's call marketing the lead generation opportunity creator, so then you can talk to people and convert those inquiries. Two separate skills. Now, from all the work I've done with business owners and surveying and research, less than 1% of business owners have actually paid for sales training. Yet, it's the number one best way to increase your profit margins there is in businesses, sales training. It may not be number one, but it'd be in the top three. That skill is lacking in the majority of businesses because people mindset, oh, I don't need sales training. I don't want to be pushy and aggressive. That's actually not sales training. That's their mindset getting in the way. But that's the first one. You've got to be great at getting the sales. Second one, you've got to be great at doing the work. And most business owners, 98% of all business owners, don't have a problem with doing the work from the sale. Some do. Some have quality control issues. Some have employee issues for a temporary time. But typically they've got a lot of knowledge in the production side. The third skill of business management is about getting paid for the work. You've got to get paid for what the work is you do. There's no point being great at getting it. There's no point being great at doing it if you can't get paid for it, because cash pays the bills, not profit. You've got to have the money to pay the bills, to pay the wages. That's cash. So you've got to be good at getting paid. Now, these three skills is what management's all about, you could say. But it's putting it all together, and it's a bit more than that. So you probably spent years learning production, but how many years have you invested to learn sales, marketing, and systems, and especially for getting paid, which are management skills? How many years? Typically, people in business haven't even spent weeks learning sales and marketing. They've spent years learning production, but they usually haven't spent tens and tens of thousands on sales and marketing training over many months. That's often why they're weak. They're not very good at getting the sale at a higher price. Winning sales at a higher price is what sales and marketing gives you the skill. The clients that I've worked with over the years have put their price up 10 to 50% within 6 months, and all of them have made lots more sales, increase their conversion rate after raising their prices. Now, this is an extreme set of skills that I share with business owners, and it literally explodes their businesses. Like the one I was talking about earlier, where he tripled his turnover in a month, went from 30,000 to 90,000 because I taught him how to sell to different personality types. We'll talk about that a little bit in video too. Success doesn't begin with how. We live in a how-to world. Our school system teaches that you got to know how to do things. You got to know how to do things so you can get a good job, so you can get a university, so you can be a super soldier technician for an entrepreneur. That's what our society teaches. You got to know all about how. But success actually begins with what. Napoleon Hill wrote one of the best-selling books in the last 100 years called Think and Grow Rich. And in one of the first chapters of the book, he said, you must have a burning desire. You must know what you want. It's the number one ingredient. He said every successful entrepreneurial person in the world that he interviewed over 500 of them, the wealthiest people in the world, he said they all had a burning desire of what they want. They were really clear of what they want. Whereas our society says, don't dream, you're just a dreamer. And there's songs about that, and we'll label you a dreamer. You need to get knuckle down and learn how to do this stuff. So our society teaches us to focus on how. But the question is, what do you want to achieve? What do you want to achieve from your life? And what emotional state of mind do you want to live with? If I said take a broad snapshot of the most common emotion that you're feeling in your life at the moment, and especially in a workplace environment, what would it be? Would it be stress? Would it be pressure? Would it be apprehension, fear, doubt, worry? What would it be? Is it happiness, inspiration, motivation, excitement, passion, enthusiasm? What is it? But imagining and envisioning what it is that you want to experience is what Napoleon Hill found is the number one most overlooked and lacking ingredient of extreme success. Driving your vehicle. If you think about your business as a vehicle, it gets you from A to B. Well, it's like if you get in your car, you always know your destination. Well, if you're in business, well, what's your destination? It's exactly the same thing. You need to know your destination in business. What do you want your business to look like? Do you see your business having 10, 50, 200 employees one day? If not, then what number of employees do you see it having? What number do you want? Is it 7? Is it 10? Is it 50? What is that number? What salary would you like from your business? If you could create wealth from business ownership with the salary it was paying you, what would that figure be? Would it be 200k a year or more? Would it be just 100k a year? It doesn't matter what it is, but it's very important to answer the question. How you will achieve these is not important. Don't even think about it, because this is what happens. We sabotage with our skeptical, analytical left side of our brain that says, I don't know how to achieve it, so there's no point in thinking about it. That is a sabotage way of thinking. All great entrepreneurs, all great achievers, the first thing they think about is what they want, not how they're going to achieve it. How do I create wealth? Well, what is wealth? Let's first of all define it, get you excited by it, imagine it, envision it, then we'll talk about how, because then you're ready to use what it is that you've taught. But if you just teach a person how to do it, but they have no desire for the information, they don't value the information. All comes back to what comes first. The burning desire to achieve them is more important. Anything can be achieved through learning if the desire is there. You've overcome obstacles in your life already. Going into business was an obstacle you overcome, but you had a vision, a passion, an excitement, an enthusiasm for going into business for yourself. That's what drove you through the changes and the habits and the disciplines necessary to get to where you are now. It's the same to go to the next level. You need to reinvigorate and get excited by what it is that you want. Our greatest challenge to success is what we don't know that we don't know. That's our greatest challenge. It's what holds us back. Ignorance, you could say. So first you need to learn what you don't know, then you know what to learn. These 7 steps is what you don't know that you need to know. So each of the 7 steps will start to elaborate and expand on the content of what it's all about. So everyone that's come through the 7 steps of business certainty training, every single person has looked back and said, I didn't think I needed all this, but you're so right, I do. I say, yeah, that's because an integration. All 7 steps integrate with each other. Step 1 integrates with step 7, for example. It also integrates with step 2. Step 2 is the foundation for step 5, and it's also the foundation for step 3. They all integrate together. Step 4 only integrates with step 7 and step 3, and without it, it can't work on its own. So all this sort of flows together, and you'll see that, but you're becoming aware of what it is that you need to know. Now you just need to learn more of that. So you become more aware of what you don't know. So what's next? Your mission now is your action steps now following this video. So turn your vague thoughts that you may have about what you want into very specific dreams personally and goals for your business. And it needs to be in handwriting. A lot of people think this doesn't matter, but this is such an essential ingredient. Don't type up your goals. Your body is not involved, and you need to get your body congruent with your mind so that you're getting excited by this. So it's a discipline, if you like. You just get a spiral bound blank pad or get some white paper, staple it together if you need to, but do blank paper, and then you're using your right brain. You're getting your right brain focuses against ruled lines and one boring colored pen that you never want to look at again because it looks boring. That is what school teaches. That's what academic teaches. That's why it doesn't work for a lot of people. You need to let your imagination flow. So blank canvas, blank paper, colored pens or colored texter, and start writing. What I want you to do is define what you want to achieve with your business. Get specific. Exact numbers of employees. Do you want 7? Do you want 50? Do you want 21? Whatever it is, think about that and the turnover and be specific. Write it down. What's the revenue you want to achieve? What number of employees? And also what salary do you want to be paid from it? What do you want personally in life? I want you to write this down as well. What house do you want to live in? What size? What color brick or what color timber or what color exterior, what color interior, what type of furniture, how many bedrooms, how many stories, what cars do you want in the garage, what do you want to do as your hobbies, what do you like to play with, boats or caravans, or where would you like to go in the world, for how long would you like to go, who with. These are the things I want you to put in writing in this pad, in this workbook you're going to create. So being extremely specific and detailed. 3 to 10 pages is ideal. Don't try and do 1 or 2, because when it's vague, you're not being specific. Specific means that if you talk to someone, they go, I get the picture, I see what it is that you're describing. That's how much you got to do. Until you feel excited, you haven't clearly defined what you want. So it's as simple as that. So if you just write down, oh, okay, Tim said to do this, okay, I'll write down, yeah, okay, all right, what's the next step? You won't get much out of it if you approach it that way. That mindset is in contrary to your success, as Napoleon Hill proved. So your thoughts lead to actions and outcomes. So when you get inspired, it'll start to generate thoughts from that inspiration. Your mindset will change. Your right brain kind of thinking, which is where creative ideas come out of your right brain, and right brain is emotion. So when you tap into these emotions of excitement and passion, you start to get creative. That's what falls out of that state of mind. So therefore, that's such a key ingredient. You'll learn how to grow and improve your business from that inspiration from doing this exercise. So what's next? Well, the next step is step 2. It's about team building and recruitment, but also you'll soon be getting a webinar invitation so you can get more information from the content of the 7 steps to business certainty. So keep your eyes out for that, and I'll look forward to talking to you soon in the next video.